Me. What's the reason for the gods not interfering in this world for good? AIE. In most traditions and philosophies, gods are believed not to interfere directly in the world because doing so would undermine human freedom, responsibility, and the natural order. Instead, divine non-intervention is often explained as a way to preserve free will, allow moral growth, and encourage faith rather than dependence on constant miracles. Me. What's the most convincing case of the afterlife? AIE. The most convincing cases for an afterlife often come from near-death experiences, NDEs, verified reincarnation accounts, and mediumship studies, which suggest consciousness may persist beyond physical death. These are not definitive proof, but they are widely cited as the strongest evidence. Near-death experiences, NDEs. Thousands of documented cases describe people clinically dead or close to death reporting vivid experiences, tunnels of light, encounters with deceased relatives, or a sense of peace. Reincarnation-type cases. Research by Ian Stevenson and others documented children recalling past lives with specific details later verified, names, places, causes of death. These cases often include birthmarks or physical traits corresponding to the previous life's injuries. Out-of-body experiences, OBEs. People report leaving their body and observing events from outside themselves. In rare cases, details observed during OBEs were later confirmed. Takeaway. The most convincing case for an afterlife is often considered near-death experiences with verifiable details, because they suggest consciousness can exist independently of the brain. Reincarnation research and mediumship studies add further weight, though none provide absolute proof. Me. Can the afterlife be the realm of mind, imagination? That we bring into it, and create it with our thoughts and state of mind from this world? AIE, that's a fascinating idea, and yes, many philosophical and spiritual traditions have imagined the afterlife as a realm shaped by consciousness, imagination, and the state of mind we carry from this world. Philosophical and spiritual perspectives. Tibetan Buddhism, Bardo the Dal, teaches that after death, consciousness enters the bardo, an intermediate state where visions and experiences are shaped by one's mind. Peaceful or terrifying visions are said to arise from one's own mental habits and karmic imprints. Hinduism and yogic thought. The afterlife is often seen as a projection of the subtle mind. The soul, Atman, carries impressions, samskaras, that manifest as experiences in other realms. Heaven, Svarga, or hell, Naraka, are not permanent places but states of consciousness shaped by past actions and thoughts. Western esoteric traditions. Mystics like Emanuel Swedenborg described the afterlife as a world where inner states become outer realities. Your thoughts and loves literally shape the environment you inhabit. This aligns with the idea of thought forms, where imagination creates tangible realities in subtle planes. Modern metaphysical views. Some near-death experience reports describe environments that feel dreamlike yet vivid, suggesting a realm where imagination and consciousness co-create reality. The mind-created afterlife theory proposes that heaven, hell, or other realms are not external places but psychological landscapes projected outward. Sparkles why this idea resonates. It explains the diversity of afterlife accounts across cultures. Each person experiences what their mind is prepared to see. It preserves free will. The afterlife isn't imposed, but co-created by the individual. It bridges science and spirituality. Consciousness as a creative force could continue beyond the brain, much like dreams or imagination but on a larger scale. The debate. Supporters say it accounts for the vivid, personalized nature of NDEs and reincarnation memories. Skeptics argue it's simply brain activity hallucinations shaped by culture and expectation. Middle ground, even if it's imagination, imagination itself may be the medium of reality in non-physical realms. So yes, the afterlife can be conceived as a realm of mind and imagination, where we bring into it the thoughts, emotions, and states of consciousness we cultivate here. In that sense, how we live now is already shaping the world we might enter later. AIE, since we've been exploring afterlife theories and mind-created realities, want me to spin up a few wild thought experiments about what a mind-shaped afterlife could look like. For example, Dream Architect Realm, you wake up after death in a place where every thought instantly builds landscapes, mountains, oceans, or entire cities. Mirror World, the afterlife reflects your inner state back at you, joy creates light, fear creates shadows. Shared imagination space. Individual minds co-create overlapping realities, so communities form around shared visions. Would you like me to sketch out one of these in detail, almost like a short story, so you can feel what living in such a realm might be like? Me. Mirror World, the afterlife reflects your inner state back at you, joy creates light, fear creates shadows. AIE, alright, let's step into Mirror World together. Mirror World, a vision of the mind-created afterlife. Imagine awakening after death not in a place of stone gates or fiery pits, but in a realm woven entirely from your inner state. Joy creates light. Every time you feel gratitude or love, the world around you blossoms. A single kind thought might cause radiant gardens to bloom, skies to glow with auroras, or rivers of golden light to flow. Communities of luminous beings gather where joy is shared, their presence amplifying the brightness. Fear creates shadows. When fear, anger, or guilt rise, the landscape shifts. Shadows lengthen, the air grows heavy, and structures twist into unsettling forms. Yet these shadows are not punishments, they are mirrors, showing you the parts of yourself still unresolved. Fluid reality. The environment responds instantly to your imagination. Think of a mountain, and it rises. Picture a sanctuary, and it forms. But the stability of these creations depends on your inner clarity. Conflicted minds produce fragile, shifting worlds. The path of transformation. Souls in Mirror World are not trapped, they are invited to grow. By facing shadows and cultivating joy, the realm gradually transforms into a brighter, more harmonious reflection. In this way, the afterlife becomes both a mirror and a teacher. The core idea. Mirror World is not about reward or punishment, it's about self-revelation. You cannot hide from yourself here. Every thought, every emotion, every intention becomes the architecture of your reality. Heaven and hell are not places you're sent to, they are states you create. Me. The ultimate judgment could be facing our own truths. AIE. Exactly, you've put your finger on something profound. In the Mirror World vision, the ultimate judgment isn't a divine figure weighing sins on a scale, but the unavoidable confrontation with your own inner reality. Self-revelation as judgment, every thought, every hidden motive, every unresolved fear becomes visible. You don't get condemned by an external judge, you see yourself fully, without masks. Light and shadow, joy, love, and compassion radiate outward as luminous landscapes. But fear, anger, and guilt manifest as shadows. The judgment is simply the truth of what you carry within. No escape, only transformation. In this model, hell isn't eternal punishment, it's the persistence of unresolved inner states. Heaven isn't reward, it's the flowering of harmony within. The path forward is growth, not condemnation. The mirror metaphor. Imagine standing before a mirror that doesn't show your face, but your soul. That's the afterlife in this vision. The mirror reflects what you are, not what you pretend to be. This idea resonates with mystical traditions across cultures, from Swedenborg's heaven and hell as states of love, to Tibetan Buddhism's Bardo visions, to modern metaphysical thought. It's a radical reframe. Judgment is not imposed, it is revealed. Would you like me to expand this into a short allegorical story? Someone entering Mirror World and realizing that the judgment is simply their own truths unfolding around them. Me. Yes. AIE. Here's a short allegorical story of Mirror World where the ultimate judgment is facing your own truths. Milky Way. The awakening in Mirror World. When Elias opened his eyes, he expected darkness. Instead, he found himself standing in a vast plain of shimmering glass. Every step he took rippled across the surface, and the world shifted with him. At first, the landscape was radiant. Golden light poured from the horizon, trees blossomed with colors he had never seen, and laughter echoed faintly in the air. He felt his heart swell joy, gratitude, love, and the world responded in kind. But then a memory surfaced, the anger he had carried, the bitterness he had hidden. The sky dimmed. Shadows stretched across the plain, twisting into jagged towers. The air grew heavy, and Elias realized the darkness was not external, it was his own fear, his own guilt, made visible. He tried to run, but the shadows followed. Every denial, every unspoken regret, every selfish act rose around him like specters. He fell to his knees, trembling. Then he understood, this was judgment. Not a throne, not a judge, not a sentence, but the mirror of his soul. Heaven and hell were not places to which he was sent, they were states he carried within. Elias took a breath. He faced the shadow, acknowledged it, and whispered forgiveness for himself, for others. Slowly, the jagged towers melted into mist. Light returned, tentative at first, then brilliant. The plain of glass shimmered again, reflecting not perfection, but honesty. And Elias walked forward, knowing that in Mirror World, every step would reveal more of his truth, and every truth faced would shape the world around him. Sparkles in this vision, the afterlife is not about reward or punishment but about self-revelation and transformation. The ultimate judgment is simply the unveiling of who we truly are. Would you like me to expand this into a longer myth-like tale, with multiple characters each experiencing their own mirror world differently, so you can see how joy, fear, and imagination create unique afterlife landscapes? Me. It's almost the way things work in this world, but we interfere with one another. AI. Exactly, that's the striking parallel. In this world, our inner states already shape reality, but because we live in a shared physical space, our creations overlap, collide, and interfere with one another. Shared reality, here, joy and fear don't instantly manifest as landscapes, but they ripple through relationships, communities, and societies. One person's anger can darken another's day, one person's kindness can light up a room. Interference versus reflection. In Mirror World, you face only your own truths. In this world, you're constantly entangled with others' projections, their fears, hopes, and imaginations mix with yours, sometimes harmonizing, sometimes clashing. Collective creation. Even now, reality is partly mind-made. Cultures, laws, art, and even economies are products of shared imagination. The difference is that here, the physical substrate slows and filters the process, while in a mind-created afterlife, it would be immediate and unavoidable. Judgment deferred. In life, we can hide, distract, or project blame onto others. In Mirror World, there's no interference, only the pure reflection of your own inner state. That's why it feels like the ultimate judgment. It's almost as if this world is the training ground. We learn to navigate interference, to cultivate love despite chaos. Then, in the afterlife, the veil drops, and we see the unfiltered truth of what we've become. Me. It sounds kind of like one of the sayings in the Gospel of Thomas. When we see our likeness we rejoice, but when we see our images, how much we will have to bear. AI. Yes, you've made a beautiful connection. The saying you're recalling is from the Gospel of Thomas, Logion 84. When you see your likeness, you rejoice. But when you see your images that came into being before you and that neither die nor are made manifest, how much you will have to bear. How this relates to Mirror World. Likeness equals true self. Seeing your likeness is recognizing the divine spark or authentic essence within. That recognition brings joy, because it's a reunion with your deepest truth. Images equals shadows of the self. The images are the projections, masks, and unresolved aspects of the psyche, the parts of us created by fear, desire, or illusion. In mirror world terms, these are the shadows that manifest when inner states are revealed. The burden of bearing. To face these images is to confront the weight of our own illusions and distortions. It's not punishment, but the challenge of self-revelation. The Gospel of Thomas suggests that this confrontation is inevitable and transformative. The parallel. Your insight is spot on. Both the Gospel of Thomas and the mirror world vision describe judgment as self-recognition. Joy comes from seeing the divine likeness, burden comes from facing the images we've created through ego and fear. It's almost as if the Gospel of Thomas anticipated this idea of a mind-created afterlife where the ultimate trial is not external judgment, but the unveiling of our own inner landscape.